Hello, this is the Girl Rockies tutorial movie. I'm going to be doing an amendment to it based on the PDF file, which I'm going to bring up on screen right now. In the PDF file, even though this says GCA, please ignore it. In the first few pages, I tell you in this to use Quick Mask, and I want you to not do what the handout says and to proceed to this page, which is on step 6 where it talks about using the clone stamp, or used to be called the rubber stamp, in this bottom section where I'm circling. That you can go ahead and do. But I want to have you not work in Quick Mask, and let me demonstrate. What we want to do is isolate the girl out of the background, and when I first give you this file, it's going to look like this one. Okay? What I want you to do is to throw away, examine the one I did up there, but yours is going to look a little bit different than that one. Throw away these first two layers and throw away these last two channels. And I'm keeping the channels open here so you can see how this is going to look. And what you're going to end up with on this is an extra channel called, we're going to duplicate the blue channel, and then we are going to go and make the blue channel turn it into a mask. So I'm going to go to the one that I have finished to show you how it looks. I've now clicked to it, and you can see how I've made the original blue copy, and I'm going to click to it right now and get slightly closer to this. Well, it's okay, it's a good distance away. I'm going to click to this down here and show you that is what you're going to be ending up with. And I want to circle something over here and show you do not fill in these holes, but your final goal is to fill her up with dark and clean up the background with light. First using the levels command, and then just painting with white and black on the mask itself. And look over here in the channels how I am selected onto the mask, and I can toggle the RGB image back and forth with the visibility, but I never click to it. I just toggle it. If I want to change the color of the mask, I can double click the blue copy and then change the color here. Exactly like I can go over here to Quick Mask if I was working in Quick Mask and double click this and change it to anything that I want to. But I'm going to cancel that because I don't want to work in Quick Mask. So I hit the Q key or go back to regular mask mode, and please be in regular mask mode over here in Quick Mask. Be in standard mode when you begin this. Now let's begin, and I'm going to show you what you actually end up with. You're going to invert this, and I kept both of them because I wanted you to see. I duplicated the channel for this one here, and I just inverted it, Command I. Because what you're finally going to do is use this as a command click to turn it into a selection. You're going to click up to the RGB image now, rendering and turning all these extra channels off. You're going to click to your original layer where I'm now selected on down here, and hit Command J, and it's going to do this. You are going to eventually turn this into a, watch me, turn off the blue channel, or the original copy of the girl, and you're going to have a beautiful rendition of her cut out of that background, and that's your goal. Okay, so I'm going to click back and forth. Let me throw this one away now because I really don't need it because I've already got them done, and click back to the regular beginning file. What you're going to do is to click on the blue channel down here, and you're going to duplicate it. In the blue channel duplication, hit Command L for levels, and I've already kind of got the numbers written down. I'm going to move the black over to 125, and I'm going to leave the middle histogram alone right here, and I'm going to put the white histogram at 190. Those seem to be really good numbers, and I'll show you why. It keeps the gray around the inside of her hair, which doesn't lose all the little hairs. I'm going to click OK on that, and now let's do what we need to do and save the file every minute or so, because you don't want to lose this, obviously. And here is a beautiful part about this. All you have to do is save the file, and it saves any updates you've made in your masking channel, okay? Because it's for the purpose of masking. If you actually are working in Quick Mask, you have to convert it to a selection. Go to Select and Save Selection down here where it's grayed out, because I don't have one active, and then it'll come up here. You have to actually name it, and then go to File, Save, and save the file. That's a much too cumbersome set of commands. So in other words, let's duplicate the blue channel and get started. Your ultimate desire, and I'm not going to do this whole thing, but I'm going to do a portion of it, is to hit the B key, standing for brush, and you are going to work between this hardness and this hardness for the hardness of the brush. In other words, when you get close to her crocheted little vest here, you're going to go to more softness. When you get close to her shirt or her blouse, you're going to go to a little bit harder. Never be all the way one way or all the way the other way. It's somewhere in the 50 to 70 range. Okay, now I'm going to leave it at 70 and hit the return key. And I got that palette by right hand clicking and then doing what I need to do and hit the return key to turn it off. My flow for this purpose should be on 100. And you can see now if I hit the X key over in foreground and background colors that I am truly toggling between foreground and background color. But now I want to hit the bracket next to the P key to get a pretty large brush. And I want to be careful as I'm filling all of this in. And I want to come down and get a little bit softer on the brush here. So I'm going to go like this and get closer to her hair. Let me put it down at 20 so I'm not pestering it or blasting it with black, and I'm going to toggle it down so I can just fill in a little bit smaller in a brush. So I toggled the bracket. Now look at how nicely I'm adding a feather to that. Let's toggle it back up in size, go to 100 on the flow, never reduce the opacity. I'll explain that later in class. And now your job is to just fill her in as big a brush as it's necessary to get to. Don't take away this where I'm circling. Just fill her in all the way, take away all the lettering, and just go around her entire body. Don't care if you go in and out of her background at all. Don't care if you mess up a little bit, because actually we're going to get close and we're going to fix everything. So now that I've got all of this pretty much done here, let's now toggle and hit X for white. And let's make the brush nice and big, and now your job is to get as close as you can. Let's get a little bit harder on the brush here and just come as close as you can, but don't worry again about messing anything up. Get the board, watch around her hair here. Do not come close to her hair there, because that's going to require a little bit more finesse. So I'm coming around here, and you can see how I'm not being 100% or caring that I'm ruining any edge. Okay, I'm just as close as possible. Now let me hit X to go down in size, and let me go start to get fine-tuned. Now what do I mean by fine-tuned? Whoops, I'm going to Z that back because I just about covered that up. What I want to do now is to show you how I'm going to get close to something right here and start in on this part. Okay, you can toggle on and off the actual RGB image. That allows you to actually see. Don't ever click to it, but that allows you to see what you have to do. Now I'm going to hit the X key, and I'm going to take away the background. I'm going to be very careful with what I do here. So while I'm in that area, I'm going to toggle this down to 20 or even 10, and I'm going to hit the X key. I'm sorry, I'm already on white, and I'm going to just gently take away some of this and make a real nice feel. Watch what I've done. See how I've taken that away and made a real nice feel? As a matter of fact, I'm going to right hand click and go all the way to soft around her hair. Just around her hair. Whoops, I have to actually there's a strange thing that I'm going to tell you in a second, but when you click away from something, and I'll show you what that something is, it automatically switches foreground and background color. So that's going to happen to you a whole bunch of times, and you're going to have to hit the X key to toggle to the right thing. Now let me hit the X key to toggle to black, go back to 100% on the flow, turn on the RGB image, and let's see, that's where it happened. I had just hit the X key to go back to black, but it went back to white when I switched. Watch what happens if you look over here. Watch the foreground and background colors as I turn on and off the silly RGB image. It inverts, so you constantly have to change. Okay, when I turn it on, I have to hit the X key, and I want to add black to this. So now let's go back. I'm working on her crocheted vest. It's about halfway. And now please leave, I'm going to get closer to this, please leave about 1 pixel on her left over, meaning don't include the background. Try to get as close to her as possible, and I'm going to go around this whole sleeve here, or this whole arm, and I'm going to fill her in, but try to get as good as possible with my mouse. If you have an electronic pen, it makes it somewhat easier. Now, don't go into the background. If you do like I just did, then just X key it and fill it in with white. So now I hit the X key and I come back and I can now fix it up. If you kind of can't see where the edge of her is, then turn the visibility off of here so you can really see where the edge is. Don't click away from it. Just turn the visibility off and on. Now you can see what I've done there. I'm going to come back in. Whoops, Command Z back, hit the X key, and let's fix. Now I'm going to go around her entire image, and I'm going to then show you something. As I work, I'm going to kind of go over the background here a little bit, and then I'm going to turn this off so I can see what I'm doing there. fill this up with stuff. Click this back on, hit the X key, and now take away this and clean it up, okay? Now, let's go in here and take away this whole thing here, all the way to here. Hit the X key and just put it back in. It seems to be the easier method in order to get that accomplished. Remember that you're trying to just keep one pixeled feather of her. Right here I have a mess, so let me turn this off and show you my mess. Let's clean up the mess. Let's take the X key and paint this in with white all the way down. Paint a little bit of that away. Let's go right into this corner. Let's turn this off and see how clean we are. Hit the X key, or now I don't have to because I actually turned off the RGB image. Okay, now I'm getting nice and clean on that edge. Let's turn this on. Hit the X key to flip foreground and background color and go down here. X key away. Come down here next to her little skirt and fill this all in. Let's go around the whole image, and I'll go hit the X key now, and I'm going to stop in a minute because I want you to see what I'm going to do as I add blue. I only need to go around a portion of this to give you the idea, and if you want to fast forward to this, you certainly can. But I'm going to X key this, and let's turn this off. Look at how I'm going to go right up into her skirt, down her leg here, and now let's fill this in. So again, I leave 1 pixel. Don't forget that she has an area here that needs to go black and white. So let's now hit the X key and fill this. Take this away, hit the X key, and now completely leave 1 pixel or so of her left over. Toggle the RGB image off so you can see how clean you are. Obviously I need to fill this all in with a bigger brush, and now you can see if I go back on this, I have indeed gotten what I want. I got messes over here, so now I have to make it slightly larger and clean up all my messes. Alright, this side is pretty much done. I'm going to go to my other file, which is completely done, and show you what I have accomplished. This was what I accomplished. Let me click back to this image now and turn on at least the background element so we can see what we have going on. There is a complete image of her. If I flip off the RGB image, you can see how well I've done all the way around, including leaving this little hole and where her little crocheted vest or purse is down there. What you do now is duplicate this. You take the duplicated one and you turn it into this by going Command I. You invert Command I images. You inverse selections, which is Shift Command I. Your job is to click up to the RGB image. Command click the new blue inverted mask. Click to your original layer here and hit Command J. Once you have done that, and I'm going to throw away this blue background for now. Once you have done that, you have created this. Now, what I want you to see is, and let me deselect the selection, what I want you to see is I can't really tell how good she is against this background, which is why I made the blue background in the first place. So if I Command Z back, no. If I go back in history just a little tiny bit, I don't know where I put history. History is here, just a minute, it's behind a palette. Okay. If I go back in history one little bit, you're going to see that I had a blue layer. So let me turn this off and turn this back on. I just brought forth this file right here, and I left it selected and put over here. I then went like this, made a brand new layer, hit the B key for the brush, okay, and in the brush made sure I was selected onto this layer there, held the Option key and gone over here and eyedropped out the blue. So in the brush, the Option key is the eyedropper. All you have to do then is go, if it's the foreground color, Option delete, and it will fill. I just wanted to see how this reacted against the background. When it eventually gets into this file, you're bringing the girl cut out to the Rockies file, not the Rockies to the girl file. All right? Now, I have also already done something which the handout is pretty exemplary on, and that is taking away using the clone stamp down here in the dress, in the skirt where the lettering was. So let me turn on the background layer and show you how I've done that. All right? I want you to come at least as close as I have in not trying to get duplicated images or arrays or what they call moire patterns in here or duplicated patterns. Look at how I'm going to turn off this and let you see how well I did on rubber stamping that out. All right? Because you're going to have to get very close and do it. And if you need a demonstration on it in class, I will show you. But that's not what this movie file was for. It was for this. Now what I want you to do on this before you bring it into the Rockies file, and I've already got it accomplished, so I'll get it through it real fast, is I took her and I did a little bit of blue around her hair. And I want you to see why I did that in a minute. What I did then was I went down to the first one I did, which was black on the inside, white on the outside, and I command clicked it like this. I then went to click to that layer which had blue around it and just hit the delete key like I just did right now. But I'm going to command Z that back because I didn't really want to do that. That turned the layer into this. I then clicked to that layer and went here to duplicate layer. After I was all finished with the rubber stamping and the blue around her hair, I changed the destination of the document to my finished example or my Rockies file for the movie. So take her, new layer, put her into the Rockies one. What happens is, and I'm canceling because I already did that, but there she is in this file. And I want you to see what she looks like in this file. Let me put her in the center. Or what the heck is happening here? Oh, I put her off to one side. That's fine. I want you to see what it looks like when you first bring her in without having the blue around the edge of the hair. I'm going to turn this off now and see how by having the blue around the edge of the hair, what you have done is made her melt. That's a figure of speech, melt into that background. There she is all cut out kind of harsh. There she is with the blue in the background. And of course I don't have this cut out down here. Yours will have this already cut out. So what I'll do is just quickly turn this off, turn this back over here, take this new layer and again duplicate it, go down here to the Rockies movie file. Yours is just going to say Rockies file. Turn this off or click back to that file right there, and now she's in there without anything on the background. Down here I've taken the letters out. She is a little bit too much far down and I wanted her more in the middle of the file. So I've now done all that and she is indeed in the middle of the file where she should be. I don't know why I put her off to one side, but here is where she should be. And if you want to further increase a little eradicating of her hair around the edge, add a layer mask to her and take and make it go in the B key down to about 5% on the flow. So make your brush about this big, paint in black on the layer mask, and I'm going to make a real big deal here, but I'm going to go into this way too far, okay? Because all I really wanted to do was kill the edge of this. But if you mess up, look at how nicely I'm killing the edge of this around here to make her further feel like she is part of that background or was shot into that background. Her softness on the edge of her head. I'm going to hit the X key now and I'll paint this back in with a bigger brush, and you can see how well I can actually remanipulate by painting white on the layer mask. I didn't ruin what I had already done in the first place. So between white and black on this layer mask, you can make the edge of her hair a little bit more soft. Okay, that's it. You continue on and do the rubber stamping on her. Thank you.